Jake and Ryan had been best friends since elementary school. After graduating high school, they packed up Ryan's old red Dodge and hit the road, chasing the thrill of a summer road trip before life pulled them in different directions. Their plan was loose: campgrounds, small towns, gas station snacks, and as few responsibilities as possible. On their third night, they found themselves deep in Wyoming, winding through an empty stretch of desert highway near Laramie. It was past midnight. The map showed nothing for miles, but the gas gauge blinked red. The sky was moonless. Not a single car passed them for hours. That's when they saw it. A flickering neon sign in the distance. Gas food restrooms, it buzzed. The gas station looked like it belonged in a 1950s postcard: dusty red pumps, a rusty ice chest, and a storefront with yellowed glass windows. Yet every light was on, casting a pale glow onto the cracked pavement. They pulled in with relief. No other cars. The air was dead silent, except for the wind whispering across the sand. Inside, the clerk stood motionless behind the counter. Pale, tall, and far too still. His eyes were gray and sunken. And he never blinked. Jake offered a nervous smile. "We almost didn't make it. Do you take cards?" The clerk's voice was low and distant. "Pump's ready. You better hurry." Ryan looked at Jake. What did he mean by that? Jake shrugged it off. They filled the tank, grabbed sodas and chips, and hurried back inside to pay. The clerk stood in the exact same pose, not having moved an inch. "You better hurry," he repeated. "They're coming." Jake froze. "Who's coming?" But the man didn't answer. His mouth closed, his eyes locked straight ahead. As if he hadn't spoken at all. Unsettled, the teens tossed a 20 on the counter and ran for the car. They peeled out of the lot, tires screeching into the quiet desert. As they drove off, Ryan glanced in the rearview mirror. The gas station was gone. Just empty desert stretching in every direction. Jake and Ryan never spoke of it again. They told no one, not their parents, not their friends. They both agreed it was a hallucination, maybe a shared dream brought on by stress and heat. But deep down, they knew it had been real. The memory festered in the back of Jake's mind like a thorn. He found himself sketching the gas station at night, its faded sign, the unmoving clerk. He'd wake up drenched in sweat, certain he heard the clerk's voice again. "You better hurry." He moved on. Started college. Tried to forget. Ryan didn't. He dropped out of community college, grew quiet and withdrawn. Sometimes he'd text Jake in the middle of the night. "Do you ever dream about him? I swear I saw the station again, just off the highway near Cheyenne. It's calling me back." Then, silence. Jake tried to reach him, but Ryan had vanished. His phone disconnected. His social media wiped clean. His mother filed a missing persons report, but nothing came of it. Until 1 year later, almost to the day, Jake found himself driving the same road. He didn't plan it. Something drew him there. He didn't even realize where he was until the desert came into view. That's when he saw the flickering neon. The gas station stood exactly as before, untouched by time. Same faded pumps. Same yellowed windows. Same buzzing sign. As if it had been waiting for him. Jake's heart pounded. He wanted to drive past it, pretend it didn't exist. But his hands turned the wheel on their own. The car pulled in, engine humming nervously. He stepped out into the silence. The air smelled different here, sweet and metallic, like old copper. And then, from the doorway, he saw him. The clerk. Still unmoving. Still pale. But this time, he was smiling. "Glad you made it back," he said softly. "You forgot your souls." Jake's blood ran cold. "What did you say?" The clerk tilted his head. He already gave his. Willingly. Jake stumbled back, heart thudding. "Where's Ryan?" "What do you mean gave his?" The air shifted. A cold wind spiraled around the pumps. From behind the building, shadows crept forward, slow, slinking things with hollow eyes. Jake saw dozens of them now, floating just beyond the light, watching him. The clerk continued. "He came back a week ago. He never left." Jake turned toward the window. Inside the station, at the very back, stood Ryan. He looked the same, yet completely wrong. His eyes were black voids. His skin pale and waxy. He didn't blink. Jake rushed toward the door, but the clerk stepped in front of him. "1 coin. 1 soul. You left yours here last time." The transaction was incomplete. Jake realized then, they had made a deal without knowing it. The $20, the gas, the snacks, they weren't paying for fuel. They were offering themselves. The payment had just been delayed. And now, the debt had come due. Jake turned and ran. He leapt into the car, slamming the door and turning the key. The engine stalled. Shadows circled the vehicle. A humming began, deep and mechanical. The lights of the station flickered and turned red. The ground beneath the car pulsed like a heartbeat. Then, silence. Jake whispered, "Please, let me go." The clerk's voice rang out again, without a mouth moving. "You were warned. You didn't hurry." The engine roared to life. Jake floored the gas pedal, tires spinning as he tore out of the lot and back onto the highway. He didn't look in the mirror. Not once. Not even when the wind howled behind him like screams in the desert. He drove for hours until the sun rose. The gas station was gone. Again. But something followed him home. At night, his mirror fogs up, and a message appears, "You forgot your soul." He hears footsteps when he's alone. Sees shadows moving at the edge of his vision. And sometimes, when the lights flicker in his apartment, he sees a face in the dark. The clerk. Still smiling. Still waiting. Because once you've stopped at the disappearing gas station in Laramie, Wyoming, you always come back. And the second time, you don't leave.